Welcome to English Podcast.
Hello, my friends. On today's episode, Lucas and I will be discussing morning habits. Listening to natural conversations can help you enhance your English skills in various ways, such as improving your listening abilities, learning new words, phrasal verbs, idioms, and much more. However, before we begin, I would like to humbly request that you give this video a like if you enjoy it. Your feedback will inspire me to create new episodes like this.
Hey Lucas, good morning. How did you sleep?
Hey Daisy, good morning. I slept pretty well, thanks for asking. How about you?
Wait. My friends, did you notice the word slept? Slept is the past tense and past participle of sleep.
I had a great night's sleep, thank you. So, I wanted to ask you, have you developed any new morning habits recently? I've been trying to incorporate some healthy habits into my morning routine.
Incorporate means to include or add something into something else. In this context, it means adding healthy habits to the morning routine.
Actually, I have been trying to do the same thing. I've been trying to start my day with some light exercise like a quick yoga routine or a walk around the block.
That's a great idea. I've been trying to drink a glass of warm lemon water first thing in the morning. I've heard it helps with digestion and boosts your metabolism.
Oh, I've heard about that too. I might have to give it a try. Another habit I've been trying to develop is limiting my phone use in the morning. I find that if I start scrolling through social media or checking my email right away, it sets a negative tone for the rest of my day.
That's a really good point. I've been trying to avoid my phone in the morning too. But it's definitely a challenge. I've also been trying to incorporate gratitude into my morning routine by taking a few minutes to reflect on what I'm thankful for.
That's a great idea. I think it's really important to start the day with a positive mindset. Another habit I've been trying to develop is a consistent sleep schedule. I find that when I go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, I feel more energized and focused throughout the day.
I totally agree. I've been trying to prioritize my sleep as well. Another habit I've been trying to develop is taking a few minutes in the morning to plan out my day. I find that when I have a clear idea of what I need to accomplish, I feel more productive and less stressed.
That's a great idea. I've been trying to do the same thing, but I've been struggling to stick with it. Do you have any tips for staying consistent with morning habits?
Well, one thing that's helped me is making my morning routine enjoyable. For example, I love listening to music while I get ready in the morning, so I make sure to incorporate that into my routine.
That's a really good point. I think it's important to find ways to make your morning routine enjoyable so that it doesn't feel like a chore. Another thing that's helped me is finding an accountability partner. My roommate and I have been trying to develop healthy morning habits together, and it's been really helpful to have someone to check in with and keep each other motivated.
That's a great idea. I think having a support system can make a big difference when it comes to developing healthy habits. And speaking of healthy habits, have you been trying to incorporate any new habits into your daily routine outside of the morning?
Actually, yes. I've been trying to drink more water throughout the day. I've heard it has a ton of health benefits, like improving digestion and boosting your immune system.
That's awesome. I've been trying to do the same thing. I also recently started practicing mindfulness meditation for a few minutes each day. And I've noticed that it's been really helpful for reducing stress and improving my overall well-being.
That's really cool. I've been interested in trying meditation, but I'm not sure where to start. Do you have any tips?
Sure, I'd be happy to help. I actually use a meditation app that guides you through different mindfulness exercises. I find it really helpful because it takes the guesswork out of meditation and helps me stay focused.
That sounds like a great resource. I'll have to check it out. Thanks for the tip.
No problem. I think it's really important to prioritize our physical and mental health, and incorporating healthy habits into our daily routines is a great way to do that.
Absolutely. And it's also important to remember that developing healthy habits takes time and consistency. But if we stick with it, we can make positive changes in our lives that will have a lasting impact.
Hey there, my name is Jessica, and I'm a homemaker. I love taking care of my home and family every day. My day usually starts quite early in the morning, as I'm an early riser. As soon as I wake up, I get to work preparing breakfast for my family. I'm a big fan of cooking, and one of our favorite breakfast dishes is pancakes and scrambled eggs. It's always a pleasure to see my family enjoy their meal. Once breakfast is over, I help my children get ready for school by assisting them in getting dressed and making sure they have everything they need for their day ahead. With the kids off to school, I take some time to tidy up the house by cleaning and organizing. Keeping our home clean and comfortable is very important to me. In the late morning, I head to the grocery store to pick up fresh fruits, vegetables, and other essentials for the week. I take pride in planning meals and making sure we have everything we need. Once back home, I unpack the groceries and start preparing lunch. I aim to make something healthy and well-balanced for my family. While the food is cooking, I spend some time watering my plants and tending to my small garden. Watching the plants grow is both satisfying and fulfilling. After lunch, I help my kids with their homework and enjoy the opportunity to bond and help them understand their lessons better. We often have fun studying together. Once they finish their homework, we spend some time playing games or doing creative activities. In the late afternoon, I start planning dinner and enjoy trying new recipes and experimenting in the kitchen. Cooking is like an art form for me, and I love combining different ingredients and creating dishes that my family can enjoy together. The evening is family time, and we like to sit together, share stories about our day, and enjoy dinner. Sometimes we watch a movie or read books before bedtime. I make sure my children are ready for bed, and once they're asleep, I take a moment to relax and reflect on the day. Being a homemaker can be a lot of work, but it's all worth it when I see my family happy and well cared for.
If you found the video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Hello, my dear friends. In this podcast, we will be discussing the significant life changes that have recently happened in our lives. Have you ever experienced a significant life change? If so, how did it impact your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Before we start our conversation, let's take a moment to discuss the importance of the English language.
Hey Anna, what are the benefits of learning English?
Well, there are many advantages to learning English. For instance, you can open up a lot of opportunities for yourself. Personally, I have been able to work with companies from all over the world and earn money in dollars.
That's amazing.
Yes, if you want to progress in your career, make money, or be able to communicate with people from different countries without any hesitation. Learning English is very important.
But we don't really have a good environment to practice English here.
Unfortunately, the English taught in our schools is very basic. It only helps you to pass the exams. I have many friends who got the highest marks in English subjects, but when it comes to speaking, they are blank. They can't even speak a few lines. So, This is a big problem that I have noticed.
Hey, I'm curious. What are some cool ways to learn English?
The first step to learning English is to get used to hearing it. To do this, make it a habit to listen to English news and podcasts and watch English content instead of watching it in your local language. The more you listen to English and repeat it, the better. A good exercise is called shadowing. This means that whenever someone is speaking, you try to mimic or copy them. This gives you practical training in learning English and is a great way to improve your skills.
What are the next tips?
We'll be sharing more tips in the upcoming videos. By the way, it's time for our podcast to start.
Hey Anna, what's been keeping you busy? Anything exciting happening? I feel like things have been changing a lot lately. Have you had any big life changes recently? So, tell me something new. Have you made any big decisions recently?
Well, I just bought my first house and recently moved in.
So, where did you live before purchasing this house? Must be exciting to finally have your own place after renting.
You're right, it is exciting. I used to rent a small house, but I always dreamed of owning one. Now I finally have the space to make it my own.
Oh, I see. So, renting was an option for you. Can you tell me more about the rental process? I heard some people need to sell their existing house before buying a new one.
Yeah, it can vary by country, but in the US most people rent before buying. You typically start by searching online for different rental properties. Then, once you find a place you like, you'll fill out a rental application. Some smaller landlords might not require one, but that could be a bit of a risk.
Exactly. In my case, I actually found my current house while I was still renting my apartment. The whole process took a while, but it was worth it.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things to consider when buying a house is the upfront cost.
Upfront cost meaning an amount of money paid before a particular piece of work or a particular service is done or received.
There's a down payment involved, which can be a hurdle for many people. We definitely struggle to save enough for a down payment for a long time. Hurdle means a problem or difficulty that must be overcome.
What does it mean, down payment?
When it comes to buying a house, one of the biggest expenses is the down payment, which is typically around 20% of the total price. In the United States, houses can range in price from $150,000 all the way up to millions of dollars. However, there are also additional expenses that come with buying a house, which can add up quickly. Before making the decision to purchase a house, it's important to have a thorough understanding of all the costs involved and to make sure you're financially prepared for such a big investment.
I've heard that the process of buying a house can be quite lengthy, and in the United States, it has become even more challenging in recent years. The prices of houses, particularly in areas where younger people want to live, have increased significantly compared to when our parents were young. As a result, my partner and I bought our first house much later in life than our parents did. It's definitely important to be aware of these factors when considering buying a house and to be prepared for the additional time and financial investment that may be required.
Yeah, buying a house in the United States has become increasingly challenging for younger people in recent years due to significant changes in the real estate market.
The real estate market is about buying, selling, or renting land and buildings. A realtor is a licensed professional who helps people buy, sell.
When I was considering purchasing a house, I quickly realized that most of the time, you need to have a realtor to help you navigate the process. In fact, it's estimated that 98% of the time, a realtor is necessary when buying a house in the US. This is just one of many factors to consider when thinking about purchasing a house. And it's important to be aware of all the requirements and costs involved before making a decision.
Tell me about your experience working with a realtor. What were some of the most helpful things they did?
The process of buying a house can be complex, which is why many people choose to work with a realtor. A realtor can guide you through the entire process and handle much of the legwork involved, which can save you a lot of time and stress. When I first started thinking about buying a house, I thought I could handle it on my own without a realtor. But I quickly realized that the expertise and guidance of a professional were invaluable. So, if you're considering buying a house, it's definitely worth considering working with a realtor to make the process as smooth and stress-free as possible.
Did the realtor used to call you all the time?
Yes, the realtor called us pretty much every day, sometimes up to 10 phone calls in a day. They were constantly working on setting up meetings, coordinating inspections, and discussing the timing of the contract. There are many little details to work through during the process of buying a house, and the realtor is there to help manage all of them. Of course, they do get a big cut of the final sale price, but in our experience, it was definitely worth it to have their expertise and guidance throughout the process.
Oh, okay. I was curious. How much did they take?
Realtors typically get paid a commission based on the price of the house that you buy. In our situation, the seller covered the realtor's commission, which was 6%. This meant we, as the buyers, didn't have any out-of-pocket expenses for the realtor's services. This can be a significant advantage for buyers, allowing them to benefit from a realtor's knowledge and guidance without a direct financial cost.
Hey Anna, when you decided to pack up your stuff, what was the first thing you had to do?
Hey Lucas, good question. The first thing I had to do was to get some boxes. I purchased some boxes and also asked for extra boxes from grocery stores. And then, a few weeks before the movers came, I started breaking down my house and packing everything up. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it in the end.
So, Anna, when you were moving, did you pack up all your stuff at once? Or did you do it gradually?
Hey Lucas, I did it gradually. I got some free boxes from a grocery store and started packing up stuff that I didn't need for day-to-day life about a week before the actual move. It helped to make the process less overwhelming and more organized.
I see. But what about moving all the heavy furniture and items? Did you do that by yourself, or did you hire movers?
Oh, that's a good question. While it's possible to move everything by yourself, I didn't want to deal with that. So, I decided to hire some movers instead. They helped to carry all of our heavy furniture, like couches, bookshelves, and kitchen tables. It made the move a lot easier and less stressful for me.
Wow, that sounds like quite a moving experience.
Yes, it was definitely an adventure. The movers had to walk a really long way because I lived in a downtown area where there wasn't much parking. And to top it off, they brought too big of a truck, so they had to park really far away and carry all our stuff.
That must have been really tough on them.
Yes, it definitely wasn't pleasant for them. They said it was the furthest they've ever had to walk for a moving experience. And because I lived on the second floor, they had to go down the second floor stairs, then down the apartment stairs, and finally halfway down the street just to put our couch in the moving truck. It was kind of a disaster.
I can imagine. Moving is never easy, especially when there are so many challenges like that.
Absolutely. But I'm glad I didn't have to do all that heavy lifting myself, especially since I was newly pregnant at the time. I think hiring movers was definitely worth the price for the peace of mind it provided.
If you found the video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Have you ever considered listening to podcasts? It can be a great way to improve your listening skills and expand your vocabulary, as well as learning new phrases and idioms. Additionally, by listening to how the hosts express their thoughts and ideas, you can improve your own conversational skills. There are countless benefits to listening to podcasts, and it's a fun and engaging way to learn something new. Before we begin this podcast, I'd like to start with a question. Have you ever experienced issues with overthinking? If so, how did you manage to overcome it? Please feel free to leave your comments below. Now, let's dive into our podcast.
Hey Elena, it's been a while. How have you been doing?
Hi, Marco. I've been doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
To be honest, I'm still struggling with my English learning. It's been a bit frustrating.
I'm sorry to hear that. What seems to be the issue?
It's hard to pinpoint one particular problem. I often find myself getting stuck when speaking, whether it's due to grammar or vocabulary issues.
I can understand how that can be frustrating. Have you tried any new techniques or methods to help you improve your English skills?
Yeah, I've been trying to watch more English shows and movies, and I've been practicing speaking with native speakers online. But it still feels like I have a long way to go.
Let me help you out a bit. Do you remember the difference between on time and in time?
Oh yeah, I studied that a while ago. But I still have trouble using it correctly when I speak English.
I can understand why it might be tricky. But it's important to practice using the phrases in context. Otherwise, it's difficult to apply what you've learned.
That makes sense. Do you have any tips for how to practice using on time and in time in the right situations?
One way to practice is to come up with different scenarios and then use the phrases in a sentence. For example, I arrived at the airport on time for my flight, or I finished my work in time for the deadline. It may also be helpful to listen to how native speakers use these phrases in conversation.
Can you help me to understand the difference between on time and in time?
On time means doing something at the right time, like arriving at the airport at the time your flight is supposed to leave. In time means doing something with enough time to spare, like finishing your work before the deadline.
Oh, I see. So, on time means doing something at the exact time it is supposed to happen, and in time means doing something with enough time before it is due.
I can give you another example. Let's say you have a meeting at 3 p.m. If you arrive at 3 p.m., you're on time. But if you arrive at 2:45 p.m., you're in time.
Oh, I see. So, if I arrive at the exact time of the meeting, I'm on time. But if I arrive a little early, I'm in time.
Yes, that's correct. Being in time means you're not only on schedule, but you also have some extra time to prepare or get settled before the meeting starts.
I get it now. Thanks for the helpful examples, Elena.
I can teach you some phrases to improve your English skills. For example, if you want to thank somebody, you can say, "It's very kind of you," or "Thank you so much for doing that."
That's helpful. What if I couldn't hear the last part of a phrase? How can I ask the speaker to repeat it?
Good question. You can politely ask, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last word. Could you please repeat that?"
Now, let's start the podcast conversation.
Hey Marco, how are you feeling today? You called me last night and you seemed really worried. Is everything okay?
Oh, hey Elena. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed last night.
Anything serious? Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know, I've just been overthinking everything. Every decision I make, every conversation I have, it's like my brain won't shut off.
I understand. Overthinking can be really tough to manage, but it's great that you're looking for ways to handle it.
Yeah, I just feel like my overthinking is excessive compared to other people. It's like I can't control my thoughts sometimes. It feels like I can't turn it off sometimes.
I hear you. It can be really frustrating when our minds feel like they're working against us. Have you tried any strategies to help calm your thoughts?
I've tried a few things, like deep breathing and journaling, but I still find myself getting caught up in my thoughts.
I get that. It can take time to find techniques that work for you. Have you considered talking to a mental health professional? They might be able to offer some additional strategies or support.
Thank you for understanding, Elena. To be honest, I'm more comfortable sharing my thoughts and feelings with my family. However, I'm a bit worried that they might get angry with me or think less of me if I open up to them.
I hear you, Marco. It's natural to feel worried about how others may react to our thoughts and feelings. Have you talked to your family about your concerns?
Not really. I guess I just don't want to disappoint them or make them feel like I can't handle things on my own.
What is overthinking? Overthinking is when you spend too much time thinking about something and can't stop. It's like being stuck in your thoughts and worrying too much about a situation or problem. This can make you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed.
I've been feeling really down lately. All of my friends seem so happy and they're always posting pictures with their significant others. Meanwhile, I feel frustrated and sad about my own life.
It's completely normal to feel that way, Marco. However, it's important to keep in mind that what we see on social media is often just a small part of people's lives. People usually only share the good moments and don't show the struggles and hardships they may be going through. So, even if it looks like everyone else is living their best life, there may be more going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
I never thought about it that way. I guess people only post the things that make them look good.
Exactly. And even if someone seems happy on social media, it doesn't mean they're happy all the time. Everyone goes through tough times, even if they don't show it online.
That's a good point. I shouldn't compare my life to others based on what I see online.
Exactly. It's important to focus on your own journey and not compare yourself to others. What makes you happy and fulfilled may be different from what makes someone else happy.
You're right. I need to focus on my own life and what makes me happy, instead of worrying about what other people are doing.
That's a great attitude to have, Marco. Remember, social media is just a highlight reel. It's not a reflection of real life.
I keep thinking too much about my past mistakes, which is making me feel sad. I also worry a lot about what might happen in the future, and that makes me overthink things.
Hey, Marco. I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through a tough time. It's completely normal to feel down when dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Just know that you're not alone in this, and there are definitely ways to manage these feelings.
Firstly, I have to identify what triggers me. What makes me overthink? Because without knowing what makes me overthink, I cannot deal with it.
I completely agree with you. Identifying the root causes of our overthinking or what's causing us trouble is an important first step. Writing them down on paper can help us gain clarity and better understand our thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, that's a good idea. After identifying what triggers me, what's the next step?
Once you've identified the triggers, the next step is to challenge the thoughts that are causing you to overthink. Ask yourself if the thoughts are rational and if they're helping you in any way. If not, try to reframe them in a more positive and constructive way.
That's a good point. I think reframing my thoughts could be really helpful.
It definitely can be. It takes practice, but it can help you break the cycle of overthinking and start to view things in a more balanced way.
Thanks for the advice, Elena. I appreciate your support.
Of course, anytime. Remember, it takes time and effort to overcome overthinking, but it's worth it. And if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here for you.
Thanks, Elena. That means a lot to me.
If you found the video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.